This happened to me in February of 2019. Since then, I've grown to hate window sounds at night. I was never afraid of windows until the night I saw someone silently standing outside mine. It all started like a normal night. I had been studying until 2 a.m., snow was falling outside, and everything was quiet. My family was asleep. I turned off the lights and lay down. Sleep was just starting to take me when I heard a tapping sound. I froze. It came from the window. I live on the second floor. I thought I was imagining it, but then it was real. Someone was tapping on the glass. I held my breath in fear. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't resist. I slowly turned my eyes toward the window. There was something in the shadows. At first, I thought it was a tree branch, but it was still, and it looked like a face, a pale face, staring at me, not moving. Then again. Tap, 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 tap. A gloved hand was tapping on the glass. I reached for my phone, turned on the flashlight, but in that instant, the face vanished, gone without a trace. I went back to bed, but sleep was impossible. My eyes stayed fixed on the curtains. The next morning, I checked outside the window. Snow covered everything, but right in front of the window there was a sunken mark, as if someone had stood there. I told no one. My family wouldn't believe me anyway. The next night, I shut the curtains tight, but I still felt like someone was watching me from behind them. I left the lamp on all night. I tried to stay awake, but after 3 a.m. my eyes began to close. A sound startled me awake. I stayed in bed, my heart pounding. I sat up and waited. Then the sound came again. The door handle moved slightly, but no one came in. The hallway was empty. When I turned off the lights and returned to bed, I didn't feel alone anymore. These events had stopped for a while. Just when I thought it was all over, months later, one night, I woke up to a sound. But this time it wasn't coming from the window. This time it was coming from inside, from the bathroom. I got up. The whole house was silent. But I could hear the sound of dripping water echoing. I walked toward the bathroom. The door was slightly open, the light was off. I reached for the switch. The moment I turned it on, I saw a face in the mirror. My own face. But different, pale and staring at me. Dark circles under my eyes, cracked lips. But that wasn't me. We locked eyes. Then the face slowly faded away. But here's the strange part. The next morning when I looked in the mirror again, that same face was there. It's like I had become that face. A week went by. Nothing happened, but I never felt at ease. Every night I'd check the window twice before sleeping. Even with the curtains closed, I felt it. Eventually, one night, I left the curtains open. If it was really there, I wanted to see it. I turned off the room light. All I saw was my reflection in the glass. But then, that same face, it was back again. This time, it pressed a finger against the window. It was drawing something. An eye. A watching eye. I turned on the light. It was gone. But I know what I saw. Even at school the next day, I couldn't shake the feeling. The teacher was speaking, but my mind was elsewhere. I looked out the classroom window. Every pane reminded me of mine. I told a friend. Maybe it was just a nightmare, they said, but it didn't feel like a dream. It felt too real. Since that day, every night at the same time, the same tapping sounds. I never saw the face clearly again, but I always felt its presence. And recently, something new started. Not just the tapping, breathing inside my room, coming from my left side, sometimes right next to my ear, sometimes behind my pillow. It's not outside anymore. It's inside. And it still touches the window. But now I'm the one inside. And I want to get out. And there, in the dark, that face was still there, right outside the window, watching me. Then a phone rang. I didn't recognize the number. After a moment's hesitation, I answered. The one you've been running from was always you. The next day I checked my call history. There was no call, no number. It was as if it never happened. A few nights later, the tapping stopped. The breathing, too. Everything went silent. It didn't bring peace. It felt more like the quiet before a storm. I left that house, moved to another city for university. Months passed. Life seemed to return to normal. But some nights, especially when I sit right by a window, a strange chill creeps over me. My eyes drift to the curtain. And there, in the dark, that same face still lingers, just outside the window, watching me.